Well, it's been a turbulent few days, hasn't it, in terms of all of these trade tariffs being brought in by Donald Trump. But I have to say, I think this is a real, genuine opportunity to make Britain economically independent, to save Northern Ireland and finally complete Brexit. Now, I know a lot of you are pretty angry with Nigel Farage at the moment. Some of you are probably quite angry with Donald Trump. But I think there is a very definite way forward. Hello, everyone. This is Andre Walker. Thanks so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe, but also donate to the Patriot Fund. We are funding projects to help bring this country back, and we're going to be doing more the more that you give. So thank you so much. The link is in the description. Okay, I think a lot of us, myself included, were reasonably confused about what took place when the Brexit deal was signed between Boris Johnson and the European Union vis-a-vis Northern Ireland. Confusing, right? We know that what Leo Varadkar wanted and what the European Union wanted was as follows: for us to sign the following Brexit deal, that we would give them £50 billion, we would surrender all UK territorial waters, we would remain under the jurisdiction of their courts, their citizens would be entitled to additional protections as a sort of European aristocracy in the United Kingdom. We would surrender the Northern Ireland, and we would, in future, always have to do a trade deal when they allowed us to. Effectively, it was the sort of treaty that a defeated nation should expect to sign at the end of a war. Now, to be fair, we decided not to sign that treaty, although we came relatively close on a number of things. Not permanent access to our territorial waters, but at least for some time. And one of the things happened with Northern Ireland. Now, I remember full well us all going, oh, this is just the Northern Irish moaning again. And I think we were reasonably unfair to our brothers and sisters in Northern Ireland, talking about how they should not be listened to and should not be supported in the same way as the English, the Welsh and Scottish were supported. So it ended up that they remained in the trade zone of the European Union. And of course, that has caused many problems. Now, in order to send products to the Northern Ireland, there was effectively a border. Can you believe this? A border within the United Kingdom. So whilst there was border free between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, there was a border within the United Kingdom. So the Windsor Framework with Rishi Sunak, signed just down the road from here, allowed something called a red zone and a red lane and a green lane. So the green lane would be subject to no tariffs whatsoever and no checks, because they were products purely for Northern Ireland coming from GB. Got it? So even though we're one country together, we do have a border within the United Kingdom, but stuff that's not going to go beyond the United Kingdom can be sent to Northern Ireland. I hope that wasn't too confusing to understand. Well, of course, now there are 10% tariffs on the United Kingdom, that being the minimum tariff the United States of America has put on anyone. And then there's 20% tariffs on the EU. Well, if there are now retaliatory tariffs against the United States of America, what that will mean for Northern Ireland is that they will have to pay the tariffs on goods coming from the United States of America, right? As if they were in the European Union. And so say there is a 100% tariff on the American car. People from Northern Ireland would have to pay that 100% tariff, even though it was imposed by the European Union on entry to the European Union and not by the United Kingdom on entry to the United Kingdom. Well, it's a mess, isn't it? And I hope that my description at least managed to give you some sense of both it being a mess and some understanding of what was going on. We now need to deploy Nigel Farage to fix this. The reason why the American government has got no love for the United Kingdom has got nothing to do with you. It's got nothing to do with me. It's got something to do with the fact that the American government know that Keir Starmer's government loves the European Union and wants the United Kingdom to come back into the European Union. They've already started that process with regulatory alignment. That is to say, very simply this: we don't take every EU law and integrate it into British law. Yes, we do, because what Keir Starmer has promised is that every time the EU puts a new regulation in, the United Kingdom will pass a law with a similar regulation. That is a prelude to being able to say in 10, 15, 20 years' time, well, We have the same laws as them anyway. We have the same regulatory alignment. We should be a rule maker, not a rule taker, is what they'll say. Even though, of course, the reason why we're a rule taker was entirely voluntarily implemented by our own people. So, what needs to happen? Well, first of all, it's time for the Republic of Ireland to stand by its own treaty obligations. There is no treaty obligation that says that we have to defend the borders of the European Union. That is a treaty that the Irish have with the rest of the EU. There is a treaty, however, to say that there will be no hard border within Ireland. The United Kingdom and the Republic of Ireland signed that, and I think we very simply say to the Republic of Ireland, try and put up your border wall if you want. Do it. And if the IRA don't pull it down, then the British Army will pull it down instead. We will unite in hatred against the border wall. And I think that's a reasonable thing. But I think also what we now need to do, and I know I've been banging on about this for a huge and significant amount of time, we've got to get Nigel Farage to negotiate this trade deal on behalf of the United Kingdom, because when you talk about Donald Trump and his 10% tariffs, remember, he had Theresa May in his office, and he said to her, Steve Bannon was there, I want to give you the best trade deal of any country that the United States of America has ever signed. And she said, no, we have to worry about the European Union. Well, you're leaving the European Union. We trade more with the United States of America than anywhere else on earth. Now, okay, you can say, well, we trade more with the EU. Yeah, collectively, if you imagine that the EU was just one country, it's not. It's multiple countries being forced under the jackboot of a government in Belgium. But we need that trade deal now, because the 10% tariff, the only reason that Donald Trump wants it is in order to force us to have a trade deal. And I'm personally going to say this to you, and I've said this to you loads of times. I think we should have choice in what food we consume. If you don't want an American chicken that was dipped in chlorine, then there's just a sticker on saying product of USA, don't buy it. I hate this whole concept of, oh no, I don't want to buy it, so nobody else can either. Look, Hershey, to me, tastes like chocolatey vomit. I think it does to most people. By the way, it's because it has butyric acid in it. But anyhow, I don't want to buy a Hershey bar. I think Cadbury's is pretty good. Well, at least it used to be pretty good. Now, but those people who want to buy Hershey's can buy Hershey's. Those people who want to buy chlorine chicken can buy chlorine chicken. It's about choice in the market. But now, whatever you think of Nigel Farage, whatever you think of Donald Trump, these are the two men to get together and put together the US-UK trade deal. That trade deal is going to be absolutely vital for us going forward. It is the thing that is going to protect the United Kingdom and its workforce from tariffs in the future. But more importantly, it's going to build economic independence for both us and indeed the rest of the United Kingdom, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. And we should be apologising to the people of Northern Ireland that we prioritise the interests of a country that left the United Kingdom over a country that stayed with it. Thank you so much for watching this. Please do subscribe and also hit the bell notification icon. But more importantly, please do donate to the Patriot Fund. And remember, we've got my first curry lunch on the 20th of April. I'm going to send out more details about it. Please, please, please sign up. I haven't sold many tickets yet, but I really want this to be a success. It's an unlimited curry buffet, and you get to chat to me, and I do a bit of a speech, and there's questions and answers. It's going to be brilliant. Tickets are £35, and you can get them through the Patriots Club. Until next time, goodbye.